case we say something cool. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, it was weird. I found lockdown so strange. We mentioned it earlier, didn't we, in our messages? Just I was like this. Oh.
To be fair, it's why I've been. Like you'll notice on LinkedIn, I've been quieter than usual some days, and that's just because I just feel like my energy's zapped.
Yeah, same here. I'll go through days of, it's like in recruitment where I'll spend finding companies to BD and trying to communicate with them, even though they don't want to speak to you, and try to create some sort of, I don't know what it was, like normality to the day. I just could not. So then I went, I think the whole of May and June, just doing nothing, absolutely nothing. I was invited to a load of podcasts and stuff like that, and that's all I did. All I did was just that. I didn't do anything else. I made some flipping comments on LinkedIn. That was it. I didn't do anything else. Mad. You started this last 12 months, haven't you? Because when I saw you was October last year, wasn't it, in the recruitment rec? And I remember you were working with someone else.
2 weeks later.
Yeah, that was it, isn't it? And then, so you've been 12 months now running, just over 12 months running your business. How mad is that? How's it? What's kind of you look back on the year? What's kind of made you go, yay, and made you go, no?
Stuff that we've changed. So we've noticed, like historically, we were just doing content creation for people, but obviously we realised with COVID, you know as well as I do that when it's content creation, it's predominantly brand awareness, and that will generate leads 3-6 months down the line after you started posting. But obviously with COVID and everyone's struggling, everyone wanted those leads a lot quicker, so we kind of changed and adapted what we did and added more. So we now do more account management, like actually helping people structure and send those messages that are not overtly salesy but are actually going to get some traction, increasing their base, then sending the writing the content. We now do LinkedIn weekly top tips, so we'll send people updates of, did you know that this can help you get traction?
Yeah.
Been involved. We didn't need to do this before, but we now send them figures on a weekly basis saying this is what's done well, this is what's not done well, this is what we want you to do next week to increase it.
Yeah.
And we've gone from a team of me to now we're a team of 4.
What? That's mental. Because I'm really interested in how a social kind of team is put together. Do they do a lot of work for people, or are they? So that's what they do basically, is it?
They have individual accounts. So we've got 32 accounts that we're working on at the moment.
Right. Got you. Yeah.
Between 4 of us. So we've all got our own clients. We catch up with them on a 2 weekly basis.
Right.
And just talk to them. It just basically chat shit, Mark. So it's, what have you been up to? What's been going on at home? What successes have you had? What failures have you had? And it helps build that full picture of a person from a personal and a professional standpoint. So every single person that we work with kind of got their own account manager that works on everything for them and works with them to ensure that it's their personality and their words that are coming across.
Because I know one person you guys do, and I didn't know you guys did until recently, and I was like, that's really clever. So
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know who I mean. Yeah.
With that person in question, you wouldn't expect anything from their account to be me because it's nothing like my personality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but when you speak to some people, or when you get to know some people, and they always like say, "I wish I did more on LinkedIn." There's a reason why they can't do more on LinkedIn, and that's why you exist, isn't it? In that sense, is because they don't have time. They're not very good with people. You know what I mean? There's a few other things as well, but yeah.
There's a couple of them, to be fair, that it's just articulating that message, so they know exactly what they want to get across. They just don't know how to do it where it's going to get the eyes that they want. So we essentially, all the content comes from them.
Yeah.
We just structure it in a way that's going to ensure that it gets some traction.
That's it. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. So you've seen, is it growing still, or have you kind of got to a point because of COVID, you've kind of plateaued, or what's kind of the scenario?
20 inquiries last Monday alone. Literally just on my LinkedIn page. So we've still not done any outbound marketing since setting up. It's all inbound.
Wow.
we've just signed a contract to do, which I've just designed now for this particular company. They've got 250 recruiters that they want us to train. So we've split that out across a quarterly course as opposed to just a one-off course to keep the traction going, keep people involved in actually doing it and giving them that little bit of a helping hand.
Yeah. So what is, I mean, because being a recruiter, what's been identified from these type of companies that recruiters need to be doing in social media world then?
It's the COVID situation. So obviously you and I know more than anyone else that social media is the way to sell. There's a lot of recruitment agencies that are still backdated in terms of assuming that the only way to get hold of the people you want to speak to is through cold calling. I'm not going to say cold calling's dead. It does work in conjunction with social media platforms. Yeah. But a lot of them have not historically used it. They've always had massive KPIs in terms of call counts. Now they're kind of realizing, shit, everyone's working from home. Actually getting hold of people on the phone's a lot harder than it was before. We need to do something different.
Yeah, but it's always been hard to get people on the phones, though. It's always been a bum fight. And this is where I noticed years ago that social media is kind of the new kind of... No, it's not new. Start again. It's another tool to the business development world that you have, and it's another outlet for your business to be in to attract people. And what it's done over the years, for me, especially for me, is it puts me in people's minds for who I am and what I do. And then when I do approach a company or a manager, they kind of know who I am, if that makes sense. I don't mean that in a Ron Burgundy kind of way. I'm a big deal.
Well, we've had it with some of our clients. Some of our clients actually work in payroll.
Yeah.
You know, we told anyone that anyone in recruitment avoids payroll people like the plague.
Yep.
But we've built some accounts up for some of the clients that we're working with to the point where they were attending networking events before lockdown happened, where historically you'd avoid that person and go, I know where you work, I'm going to stay at the other end of the room. They were then actively finding that person because they wanted to talk to them about the stuff that they were posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's also a conversation starter. Everyone seems to assume that when you're posting on LinkedIn, you can gather metrics on that and say, well, this post got me 4 leads. It's not. It's exactly what you said in terms of being at the forefront of people's minds. So they might see a post from you 3 months earlier and then decide that they want your solutions 3 months later. How I try and explain it to everyone, and you'll understand this perfectly, Mark, it's business development. So for 3 to 6 months, it's fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after that point, all the leads, all the people that you contacted in that first month then start coming back to you. So you actually start getting something from that hard work.
And that's the key word here. And Mark Gaisford said it on one of his webinars quite recently, where he doesn't see it as writing something on social media or making a video. He sees it as business development. It's a part and parcel of that process now of business development. The cold call or the call afterwards is like near the end of the funnel, where you're confirming then your services or whatever that might be to whoever that might be right at the end. That whole, I shouldn't say it like this, I call it a song and dance. That whole thing before, the main part before, where people get attracted to what you're doing and what they're saying, is you know, a part of the process. It's not, oh, look at him, he's making another video again, it's funny. No, I'm not making a funny video. I'm doing BD, believe it or not.
And it's like, the way we explain it to our clients is essentially having us account manage your LinkedIn is like a business development executive, and then when it turns into a lead, it gets passed on to you.
How have they reacted to these leads coming to them?
Do you know what? It's really good, actually, because as soon as anyone gets anything, I get a message going, Jem, have you seen this? And then I get so excited because it's me. Biggest success story is a digital marketing company that we've been working with.
Right, yeah.
In the last 4 months, closed £260,000 worth of business just from LinkedIn alone.
Oh my God! See, those are the figures that you just dream of happening to your own business, and I bet you don't cost 250,000 quid a year to run their business for them.
But we charge anywhere between, it depends what they want us to do.
Yeah, obviously,
yeah. Range from 350 to 750 a month. And then on top of that, as you've seen, I do the training sessions on a monthly basis on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I do that to help. It's because I'm like everyone keeps having a go at me, Mark, and going, Jim, it's 18 quid, you need to up your prices. And I'm like, guys, it's not for the money aspect why I'm doing it. I'm ex-sales, and I couldn't think of anything worse than being working for somebody else in a sales role in this.
Oh man, yeah. It's the same in recruitment as well. It's you got to look at it from the perspective of what, and this is why you set up a business. I presume you set up a business. You're doing it because you enjoy doing what you do, and then there's the other aspect of it, which is the freedom. You get to spend time with your family. You do other things as well, and I can't see me. I mean, touch wood. I don't need to. Hopefully, do a job for someone like that. You know, selling something for someone else.
And you know as well as I do, they'll have been harassed and berated through all of this and not given any training or any tools
Yeah.
to do better. So that's why we did the training at 18 quid, because I thought it's giving them a new tool that they can pay for themselves without relying on the company, and it's not going to break the bank.
So I think whenever I talk to people about LinkedIn, everyone kind of has rants and raves about LinkedIn and kind of stories about LinkedIn. What is the theme at the moment that's really kind of annoying you about LinkedIn at the moment?
It's the whole we're all in this together, and then it lasts 5 minutes and everybody's ripping each other apart. It's really annoying me. Like, if I get that we've all got cabin fever, and I get that it's hard for people, but just step back before you type, please, people.
Yeah.
That other person's going through crap as well. I saw a post last week where someone had just mentioned that they'd pre-ordered one of the Xboxes, and that pre-order had been cancelled. And the amount of people that had jumped on that post and gone, "You're fucking stupid. Have you seen everything that's going on in the world and you're complaining about fucking Xbox?" Well, hang on a minute. That's that person's escapism.
Yeah. And
like, if you don't want to play it, don't mean it's wrong.
It's the Twitter world, because you do anything on Twitter, you say anything on Twitter, and someone somewhere will find some offense to what you've said and done. I don't know why. Someone somewhere just wants to say something negative about whatever you said and done. And it seems to. Facebook's not so bad. I tend to find in some Facebook groups you get that negative kind of guy, and they try to call something, and then everyone just then ignores them, and they just like love the sound of their own voice. Some of them do, but I've noticed the Twitter kind of negativity is now leaking into LinkedIn. But the worst thing about that is Twitter, you can be slightly anonymous, but on LinkedIn, you've got your company name. You've got all these things attached to you. You could try to be fake if you want to be on LinkedIn, but it's really difficult to do anything other than just be an annoying bastard if you are fake. But I find it extraordinary that like grown ass people do what they do on LinkedIn and don't understand why it doesn't work for them.
It's like, well, everyone can see everything that you've said, and you've just showed yourself to be a right cockwomble. So that's why you're not generating leads. Yeah. Like, the thing is, everyone seems to assume, oh, well, if I start posting on LinkedIn, I'm going to generate leads. No, if you're a see you next Tuesday, you're going to be seen as a see you next Tuesday, and regardless of how many times you post, nobody's going to bloody work with you. It's all about being a good person as well, and actually thinking about what you say. Think about other people and what they're actually going through. There's a lot going on in the world, and no one needs somebody else just ripping them apart for nothing. Yeah. Trying to get a little bit of happiness and light, God.
The other thing I'm really kind of starting to bug me now is we talked about people doing videos and stuff like that. I'm starting to see that a lot of people doing videos, and they'll post one or two, and then that's it. They stop, and what they've posted they haven't learned from, and then 3-4 months later they'll post another video, and you're kind of like, oh, for God's sake. And they wonder why it doesn't get traction. It's because it's shit. It's because it's a terrible video. But I get you're trying to do video, so go and seek some help on how to do video.
See, I keep saying to everyone, because obviously Stories has been released and it's new. Yeah. I keep saying to everyone, in terms of LinkedIn, play on that bit, because no one's an expert right now. No one knows what works right. So if you're actually starting out on LinkedIn, it's a really good tool to utilize, because everybody's doing the same thing, so you're not going to look like an idiot.
Yeah. Stand out on Stories is really easy to do, by the way. You've just got to put a lot of effort in it, though. That's the problem. You can't just do half-assed kind of things, and plan it as well, because you can really take a lot of people on a journey. At the beginning, I thought, oh, LinkedIn Stories. Now I've changed my mind. I think there's a lot of stuff you can do with Stories now that Instagram kind of touches upon, but it becomes very vanity-based, and Instagram very self-centered, doesn't it? Whereas on Stories, you can make it about whoever's looking. quite quickly, and bring people on a weird journey if you wanted to.
I tend to fill mine full of GIFs and stupid little videos,
Yep.
and I know people will want to watch it because they're like, do you know what? There's going to be a bit of humour and a bit of fun in Jem's story.
Yeah, but that's the kind of encompassness of your company, isn't it? It's fun, it's humorous, and if people are watching it and enjoying it, then what you're selling is demonstration of capability, isn't it? Because that's what you are. You bring people to the forefront to start looking at that particular product.
With video, if we work with anyone, if they say, absolutely, Jem, want to do everything, yeah, let's do it all. I go, well, slow down. Let's do the engagement, start getting involved with people's conversations. Then let's start writing written content. Then let's move on to video.
Yeah.
And they're like, but I'm ready for it all now. And I'm like, I get that. But if you've not done anything on LinkedIn and then all of a sudden you go alpha leather, put out 18 posts a week, 5 of them are videos and they get no traction, the next conversation we have next week is, I ain't fucking putting my face on the camera next week, Jamal.
That's the thing, though. So do you get asked to do videos, or are you doing videos with people, or what's kind of the thing for you?
So we do some videos for some people. That's just been trialing, to be fair, what we can do. I've been ratting around with editing software now for about 6 months. So we are actually at a point where we can actually offer it out.
Ooh, cool. Have you got plans? You got plans for people, or is that top secret at the moment? Or
so we're doing some for some of our clients at the moment. It's going to be something we market a little bit more in the new year. But the plan is to remove some of the content creation from me, pass it on to the guys, and then free me up to do the videos.
Oh, nice. So you're going to make them record their faces and then... Yeah.
Then how to edit everything, and it's been good. I can even do just completely animated videos now as well that are branded up. So
really?
So it depends on what they want. It's just been plain, Mark. It's there. I need to learn how to use it. So I've been playing around. That was Nick Rayburn.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, I'm on a podcast with Mark. I'll ring you back.
Get off the phone. Awesome. Take me on this journey then. How's it been this 12 months? How's kind of emotionally has it kind of all come together? Yeah.
I've learned a lot. To be honest, I was actually talking to Josh about this the other day because I fail to see how far we've come quite a lot. And I think that's just because it's like the age-old, you can't see the wood for the trees because you're too close to the situation. But when we actually step back and you think, well, we're working on over 30 accounts a month. Every month, we just do some posts on the training and we end up with 30, 40 people actually getting involved in those training sessions every month. We can now create videos. We've now added the analytics and strengthened everything that we've done. So we've learned a great deal.
I can imagine. Jesus.
And then, then the next year is going to be even bigger because there's going to be more marketing. And there might actually be a plan to start doing some outbound marketing because we've not done any yet.
I don't think you'll need to. I don't think
we need to, but I think it might be worth just looking at it.
Yeah.
Just so we've got different outlets because we do generate enough business anyway. It's just, if we're doing outbound marketing for people, I think we need to start doing it for ourselves as well.
It seems like there's a very big need for this, for a company like yours in the marketplace. Why? I mean, we touched upon it earlier. Why do you think that is? What's kind of making people very nervous about social media?
It's confidence levels. It's if you're in a room with people, you're always worried, especially if it's in a corporate or business environment, you're always worried about what you're going to say. Like that first initial 5 minutes of walking into that room is pretty daunting. Same thing with LinkedIn.
I've always kind of, I think for me, a lot of people don't know this, but the first few years of me doing social media, I made tons and tons of mistakes doing it on my own. And it took a while to learn. And now I'm still making mistakes, still doing the same shit, same problems. But
we all are, Mark. They're always changing algorithms and stuff as well, which doesn't help. So you're always constantly, because like LinkedIn doesn't know what it is yet.
It doesn't, and it's really annoying because one week a post will be like, it'll work really well and you get like 100, 200, 300 likes. And then the next week you do a similar kind of post, not even one like, and like 100 views. And you kind of look at it and go, well, what have I done wrong there? And it's purely because you just didn't get seen. That's it. You drop straight to the bottom of the list, and no one scrolls that far.
My post today is not doing well, and normally mine would be on. Well, it's picked up a little bit now, but in the first 45 minutes today, it had got 2 likes. You know as well as anyone, by 45 minutes, we're normally on 90.
Yep, normally. Or you could be, or sometimes you can get like a second wind after the first hour as well, and then it just suddenly picks up after that. Also, I'm starting to find that. Sorry, say again.
That's literally what's happened with that. But yeah. I thought it was quite clever. It's how many shelves could a shelf seller sell if a shelf seller stopped selling shelves? And it's just basically making people think they're actively selling.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I don't know.
That was just a random thought I had at 2:00 this morning, and I went, "Oh, can make that into a post." Josh has literally woke up this morning and went, "Did that actually happen? Did you wake me up to tell me that?" I'm like, "Yeah, did you?"
You know, the posts where you do that, where you wake up in the middle of the night or you're in the shower and you just post it straight away, are the most successful posts I've ever had compared to the ones where I'm sat there going, right, so if I say this, and then make sure I spell that right.
If you see the notes section of my phone, it's mental.
Yeah,
walking dog or doing a bit of cleaning or making tea, and you just think of things that you can post. So I put it all into my notes section because you're right, all those ones do really well. The ones where you sat there thinking, fuck, I've got to post, what can I post? Can't think of anything.
That's it.
I'll just put this. It never goes far.
A lot of people don't know I fill buffer up. So I fill buffer up with loads of my thoughts and ideas, and then I just leave it there to post, and then sometimes I'll go back going, oh no, that's a really bad one. Delete that one. And I just fill it up with loads of ideas, and some slip through the net I forgot about. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to be constantly thinking forward, and this is what we're saying, isn't it? It's all about business development and so forth.
It's planning, and everyone says to me, how can you think of things to write? Well, you have conversations on a daily basis.
That's it. This is it. Speaking to people has been my greatest inspiration for videos and posts. Just having a conversation. I mean, even now I'm thinking of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, the ones that we did, I did quite a lot in the beginning of lockdown in terms of working at home with the kids. You know, like letting Charlie shoot Nerf guns at the head and things. And they were all related to conversations that I'd had with people where they were going, oh my God, I can't do this. Trying to homeschool kids, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that on top of that. I'm putting weight on. Yeah. So I did one where I'm going, that's it, I'm going to get fit. And then Charlie's in the background going, Mum, we had a chuffing Snickers for your breakfast. I'm like, shut up.
Oh no. I know, it was terrible though. Do you know those little like chocolate rolls?
Yes, I think
there's little chocolate rolls you can get. I must have gone through a whole box of them one day. And I was thinking, yeah, you know the ones, the mini rolls. I went through a box of them and I thought, yeah, I need to do something. I need to go for a bike ride now. I went for a bike ride and I was like, why am I so ill? What is wrong with me? I got COVID. I'm going to admit it. I really struggled this year. Really, really struggled.
I mean, honestly, like most people expect me to be this light and happy and fluffy person on LinkedIn, which is who I am. Yeah. But there's been some days that it's been very, very difficult to be me. Yeah.
I've lived in my mind for the last 12 months playing different scenarios and different things going on. Because last year was a bit of a strange year for Brexit, for business, and it was kind of up and down last year. This year it's just been an absolute shower of shit of just, you think you're getting somewhere and then it just suddenly comes to an end. Whereas normally you can kind of get a feeling for things and like, you know, recruitment process, you get a couple of people on interview, and normally when they're on interview, 1 in 4 tends to get the job. So you could kind of almost plan your future. It did all that statistics go out the window. You pick up 10 jobs and send 100 CVs and you'll get 0 interviews. And then you pick up 1 job, send an all right kind of guy, and he gets an interview. You think, oh, this is it. This is them getting the job. And then, no, pulling the project. And that, for my mental health, business-wise, has been terrible.
You can't plan anything though, can you? Like my guys have been going, when are we expecting this next lot on? When do we expect to grow again? And my response is, how long's a piece of string?
Yeah.
Like, under normal circumstances, we could forecast. We could utilise, because we're a year in now, so we could do the figures from last year to say, right, okay, well, we know that these were our busiest periods, so we'll expect that to happen, the same trends to happen next year.
Yeah.
But our busier periods and the times when it dropped off in February. You know as well as anyone that nothing drops off in February. It's December, January normally, under normal circumstances.
That's it. You know, when I was planning this year, back in January, I predicted my busiest months is February, March, April, May. Those are my busiest months. And then it kind of drops off for the summer and then picks back up in September, October, November. So I planned this year like normal, and you saw the uptake in March exactly to the kind of point in the graph. And then COVID hit, and then it just went, Doosh. And then I thought, right, we're coming out of this now. So there's a second half of the year that we can all recuperate. That second half of the year has not even come. It's not even happened. It's extraordinary. How we deal with that is the biggest part of my day at the moment. Is like, right, how do I motivate myself to do this? How do I do that? Where's the end of where's the end of this? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel?
I think that's what it is, though, and it is the fact that at the moment none of us know where we are, and it's that uncertainty that's making us all feel a bit crap. Because as humans, we always want to know where we are and where we stand. So if you use it as an example of, we can use a business example or a personal one actually. Yeah. So in a business, it's like when you've done a proposal and you're waiting for a response, or if you're in a relationship with someone and you're not entirely, you want to be in a relationship with someone, you've been on dates with them and you don't know what the next step is. It's that limbo period where you don't know where you are. Your anxiety levels are high. You're panicking because you want the best outcome, but you don't know if that's going to happen. And it's the same with COVID.
This is it. It is exactly it. And I thought I had a good grip of my kind of mental health, but I think there were times during these, especially the last 10 months, where I've really kind of had to step back and go for a walk for hours and hours and hours just to get myself back to some sort of normality. And it's been just one thing or the other. It's amazing how my emotions have swayed.
We wrote about this the other day, actually, because I was snappy as hell on Saturday. Like, literally just fed up of life. And anything anyone said to me, it was just being bit back at.
Yeah.
And Josh went, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously, why are you being like this? And I went, why am I being like this? I've been to Aldi, it lasts fucking 2 weeks. That's why I'm being like this. And he went, so what's wrong with you? Right, I just need a walk. Or anything that's not work related.
That's it.
Went for a walk, came back and I felt like a completely different person. But we have self-awareness on our side. And we notice those differences in our personality and how we're acting. And we know that something's wrong and we need to do something to fix that. Not a lot of people are that lucky. Not a lot of people understand themselves that well. So they don't understand that actually stepping back and walking away will do them 10 times more for them than trying to plow through for the next 6 hours.
That's it. They're trying to plow through it and it doesn't always work. And I'll be honest with you, I tried to do that at the beginning. Just plow through it. Just do as much as you can. But you were getting nothing from it. There was no feedback. There was no, for me, it was trying to get more business on and there was no one there. There was no one trying to give you business or speak to you or wanted to speak to you. So you kind of start blaming yourself then. You think, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Something I'm not doing. And that's when you have that horrible kind of up and down and feedback of death. And then suddenly, I think for me, was speaking to people and hearing them going through it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is not just me then. I'm not doing this wrong. There is a real problem out there.
I spoke to a lady on LinkedIn, actually, and I've completely forgot her name.
Should we dub it over?
Sarah. We were talking about habits and things like that, and like when you're younger and things, and people say bad things to you, it kind of reiterates in your head. And when you're having a low day or a bad day, or even if you just got too much time on your hands, all that information rattles around in your head, and you build this picture of yourself that you're this horrific person. But if you actually spend 21 days telling yourself the opposite of what the little voices in your head are saying, it becomes habit. So I've kind of tried to develop that and been trying to be really kind to myself, because I'll call myself thick and stupid all the time. but it's been one of those things where I've literally had to take myself off and go, you are doing well, everything is going all right. You've managed to grow through this period, even though we've had this to deal with. Look at the big picture and stop stressing about the little things. And I've kind of had to remind myself of that daily, because it's so easy to get into that slump and think, I can't be bothered. And then you go into, well, I don't want to talk to someone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to be on my own because I'm feeling bad. And then that bad day turns into a bad week, turns to a bad month, because you've withdrawn.
That's it.
You're actually going, do you know what, guys? I feel shit.
Yeah. This has been a really weird year for this, hasn't it? It's not about trying to protect yourself with, to protect ourselves from a virus, we washed our hands and wore masks and kept 2 meters away. But loads of us didn't protect ourselves from the mental impacts of not doing business or losing jobs, and we don't have any protection to that. It's really down to ourselves. We can talk to people, but we really need to accept it, don't you? You need to, like you say, step back and understand what is going on with yourself. And we have
a catch up every Friday, and they'll go, what's it to go through? Just to chat shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean chat shit? We all need to talk to each other. We've all been out. We've not been anywhere apart from the supermarket. So we keep on top and talk about clients and what's going on with clients through email all week anyway. So that type of update's not needed. Actually making sure everyone's actually feeling happy very much is right now.
Yeah. See, this is where I think meetings in offices should be more about, is that chatting shit and just to kind of just download all the problems that they have in that room and then come out the other end and crack on. Because I think it really works. It really does work.
It does, because nobody realises, or a lot of people don't realise just how powerful. How are you?
Yeah. Don't get me started. Yeah.
And even like compliments and stuff, like there's so many women at the moment that are saying, oh, men can't compliment you because it's sexist. Well, I love compliments, and I love compliments from men and women. And if I'm going to accept it from a woman, I'm very much going to accept it from a man as well. It's
been really difficult to kind of give compliments in this day and age, actually. I've really kind of struggled to make sure I don't offend someone, if that makes sense. So I kind of pick the people I give compliments to really well, that I kind of understand them, if that makes sense, and how they would react to that compliment. But
my little more amazing messages that you send me every now and again cheer me up in the hand.
See, do you know you're the only person I send those messages to? Honest.
Really? Not only because you know for a fact if you send it to me, it's going to be received in a nice way.
Yeah.
The other people, you kind of sit there and go,
"What does he want?"
Yeah. But it is. People like, especially on LinkedIn. Like I've had inquiries recently from men who've gone, I'm interested in speaking to you about your services. They seem to come on.
Oh, I'm really kind of.
Oh, a minute. And I'm like, I've never seen it as that, guys.
I'm kind of sad by that, by the way, that they have to do that. Super weird. There's one the other day I saw, and I was really concerned actually that they even named and shamed the person. This is actually the other day, it's probably about a year ago. A guy had quite a good message going on with this girl. It was professional at first. Then he kind of flipped to, would you like to go for a drink sometime? And she found that extremely offensive on LinkedIn. And that's the bit I thought, right, somewhere in that conversation, someone got the wrong message. And, and we got to look at it from both perspectives, because the guy was obviously getting on with the girl thinking, oh, she's getting on with me. The girl is getting on with the guy thinking, this is a really great professional relationship we're building here, so to do business. But then the wires were crossed and he thought that she liked him and blah, blah, blah. That's how I saw it. But no, it turned into a shit show.
Lines are blurred, and I've said this a lot of times. So when you actually put yourself out there on social media platforms and you show people who you are and what matters to you, you're building rapport.
Yeah.
But you're building rapport with people that you don't know, they know you. Yes. And that changes the complete dynamics of that relationship before that first conversation's even been had. So you can clearly tell the difference between people who have never spoken to you or seen you on LinkedIn before to people that actually actively follow you. Yeah. Because that first message that they send you is going to be completely different. If it's completely unsolicited, if it's from someone who doesn't know who you are, it'll start with, good afternoon, hi mom, I hope you're well, how are you dealing in these unprecedented times? And then if it's someone that's been following you for a while, it's, you're right, bud, I'm interested in having a conversation with you.
That's it.
Because you've built that relationship on a friendship basis, and that's how LinkedIn works. So you're always going to get the
over-familiar, isn't it? Over-familiarization, yeah.
That's going to go for that over-familiar message because they already feel like that rapport's been built. That's because you've put yourself out there, and regardless of who you are, it's going to happen to all of us. It's part and parcel of putting yourself on a social media platform. It doesn't mean people are sleazy, but at the end of the day, when we're building relationships with people based on personality fits, and getting them to buy into you, then there is going to be an odd person that gets wrong end of the stick.
And also, I find, I mean, it's not just male and women.
I think some men get some really good. Obviously, I work on loads of accounts, so when they get someone sliding into the DMs, I absolutely pee my pants.
I've had a few.
Just as bad.
I've had a few because my face is out there all the time. I get a few messages. I love the way women try chatting men up. By the way, it's so natural. It's amazing. It really is. I wish men were that natural. Men are a little bit too get in there. Women are really good at like setting a scene and bringing you down a road, and then before you know it, you're gagged and in the boot of the car.
So when we did that Leeds LinkedIn meetup last year, that were our major fear with Williams.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's so weird, and I think we got to understand about LinkedIn because it's a social community, unlike any other social communities that we have on the internet. I mean, Twitter, like we're saying, I find Twitter a very aggressive place to be. You put anything in Twitter, and it's like, that's like
it's always because of the word count that you've got. There's no way of getting that message across without it coming across.
Zero. Yeah, but they're all like to kind of to click on something else to read more about what you've just said, or click on the video to watch what you've just said. They just want to like, oh no. It's really, really annoying one. I've been on it twice, by the way, which is the state of LinkedIn. Have you ever seen that on Twitter? Yeah. I've been on it twice.
I was on there the other week and I got really annoyed by that.
Yeah, it annoys me when I'm on there. But now I'm kind of like, I look back at it and I read the comments and I'm thinking, wow, you're all so angry. Why are you all so angry? It's extraordinary. Like, all I put was my strap line said the Han Solo of recruitment. And they took that picture of that, put it on there, didn't cover my face, and I just happened to follow it, and I saw, hang on, that's my profile. What the fuck? And the comments was, I couldn't get my head around how bloody bored people are to comment about just something what someone said on LinkedIn.
Abby's post was about a daughter. A daughter had set up.
I remember this. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Busy, and they put that on state of LinkedIn. They were like, "That's not even a fucking lie. That is actual truth. I know this because I bought loads of the bath bombs."
Yeah, well, I have podcasts on in the background when I'm working because that's the other thing. Going back to mental health, by the way, the news. I had LBC radio on during the day during COVID. Oh my God! I realised that was one of my sources of spiral. Mental spiral. When that went off, and I started listening to a podcast. There's loads of famous people brought loads of podcasts out this year, which has been really interesting. Listening to people talk to what's the one? Rob Lowe. Talk to Garth from Wayne's World. You remember Wayne's World, didn't you? Yeah. Rob Lowe talks to Garth from Wayne's World. And I just sat there for 2 hours listening to this podcast. Just disappeared into this world of Dana Carvey, that's the guy. Talk about Wayne's World and what it was like and stuff. I really enjoyed that, so that's what I do now. I just listen to them. Again, nostalgia.
I think, to be honest though, Josh has news on upstairs, and every time I go upstairs, it's turn it off. And he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "I can't be asked to listen to it. I'm fed up with it." I'll do 10 minutes on a morning watching just to see what's going on.
GMTV. No, what's it called? Yeah.
Morning. It's morning now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I just like watching Pierce have an argument with someone. It amuses me.
It's
Yeah.
That's where it is, isn't it? It's...
They've obviously been, the prime ministers and stuff have been boycotting it, and he's got them on this morning and yesterday morning, so you can imagine he's ripped them apart, which was highly amusing to watch, to be fair.
I was on the school run. I missed it, but I was as I was leaving, I was thinking, "Oh, Jenrick's going to get his ass kicked." Yeah. Oh God, I already know what's going to happen. I'm just going to take the kid to school.
We really did, but I literally watched that bit, and then it's either I'll just have Netflix on it background because it's background noise, or I've got acoustic mixers on.
Oh yeah, acoustic mixes, yeah.
And I try and stay away from news, but even on LinkedIn, it's on LinkedIn. We can only limit. We can't remove.
I think this is the thing about it all, and that's why I think nostalgia has now become really huge again this year. Is because we're trying to go back to times when we were happy and we were kind of more in a better state of mind, and now we're. I think that someone say the press briefings are like a tenth or something like that of the viewing figures. No one could be bothered anymore because loads of the stuff gets released before it. I knew about furlough was going to happen again, and I actually knew about lockdown was happening 3 days before they announced it was happening. And I was saying to some of my friends, we're going into lockdown, and I said by the 9th of November, but I think it was released too quickly, and then they made it happen on the Monday, I think it was, wasn't it, of that time.
We were on our way to Scotland. We were 20 minutes off the Scottish border when it said announcement. So I'm like, just put your fucking foot down. We'll deal with it when we get there.
Going in. My friend was flying to Cyprus on the Sunday night. Not Sunday night, the Saturday night. And there's all this stuff in the press was like, oh, we're going to go into another lockdown. And she thought, oh, January, probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to go into lockdown. So she got to Cyprus, sat on the beach, opened up her iPad, and then suddenly we're going into lockdown tomorrow. And so she came back quite recently, and now she has to quarantine for 14 days. But what's the difference between quarantining and locking down? It really doesn't make sense anymore, does it, really? But, yeah.
We got back on Monday. We were only going for a long weekend just before Charlie went back to school. So we were fortunate. We did actually get to go away and get back at the right time.
Oh, good.
It was just different four walls, Mark.
I know. I haven't seen my parents in over a year in West Wales. So, yeah.
I've seen my mum because my mum's been that good. Like this genuinely affected my mental health, actually. She's old and she's ill, and she's very much in the high risk bracket.
I love her.
And after she'd spent 12 weeks away from Charlie, she rang me up and gave me a gobful about it every day.
I bet, yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
Don't blame me, blame Boris and Cummins.
I'm saying, you know what, it ain't me. And she was like, I swear to God, I will do it. I will kill myself if you do not give me that child.
Oh.
And I'm like, you can't threaten me. She was like, Jimmy, I'm not threatening you. I don't feel like I've got anything to live for. It's not a threat. It is truth. So we ended up having to let her have him because she was just that down.
We had that with my in-laws as well, where we got kind of near the end of lockdown, and we saw that it was kind of ending anyway because Boris came on the TV and said, go to work, don't go to work. And at that moment, I kind of went, well, everyone's kind of going to go back to work, or everyone's going to just go back to the pub or wherever they wanted to do. And then we saw the beaches start filling up. And when the beaches started filling up, I just kind of went, let's kind of do it sensibly. Let's sit in the garden with the grandparents and try to do something around that. And touch wood, since then, we've been kind of that sensible dealing with it. But it really hurt them. And my parents in West Wales haven't seen us, like I said, for 12 months. And we got a little one on the way in January as well. And we're kind of talking about, right, how are we going to do that? Because they've got to come and see us. They've got to, it's not right being so long without seeing your grandchildren. I think it's really sad. Really, really sad.
This will make you laugh. So my response was, you can't have him, but come round, sit in the car, and you can have a conversation with him at the door. Then you've seen him. And I took a call while she was at the door talking to Charlie.
Oh no, here we go.
He was gone.
I thought she was like hugging him in the doorway then, but no, she's taking him. She's kidnapped him.
Yeah. So where are you? And she went, I'm halfway down motorway. What the fuck are you going to do about it now? Like, not a great deal.
You should have said you could have had his toys.
She's got a lodge at the East Coast, so we've kept her there rather than being at home because it's more isolated. There's only the people who stay there, live there, are allowed to stay. So there's about 6 couples.
Wow, okay. Well, that's quite a small little community then, isn't it? If it's 6 couples.
We kept her there, and she, apparently, without me even knowing, she'd already agreed with the owner of the campsite to take Charlie because she told them that I'm really struggling to work with him at home. And I've never had this conversation with her at all.
Yeah.
But she told them that. She'd convinced Charlie that nobody could know he was there. So she actually pulled up at the entrance of the campsite, put him in the boot, drove him, covered him in a blanket, and threw him in caravan.
Do you know what? She didn't need to do that. He would be fine in the passenger seat.
Perfectly fine, but Charlie thought it were hilarious, because he'd have to sneak it in the boot.
Oh, God, alive.
Fine, they can only do, if anyone hears this and says, oh my God, Jemma's throwing kids in boots, they can do 5 miles an hour on the campsite, people.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But if anyone's got an 8-year-old, they'll know instantly that you struggling and working with an 8-year-old is actually a load of crap because you just give them the Nintendo or an iPad and they'll be perfectly fine for 10 hours with it.
Charlie worked out pretty quickly that if he came to me, he got homework. If he avoided me, he got away with it. Yep,
that's the same here. So, you want some maths problems? Here we go. Here go some maths problems.
you get that one as well when you're on a work call that will come in and go, can I have a chocolate bar?
Oh, they know.
You say more than 2 words.
Yeah, they know to come to you when you're on the phone. And then, because you want to get them, because you're trying to talk to them on the phone. You go, yes, go away, yes.
I walked into Charlie's bedroom after one of them conversations and he sat there with a box of Pringles and one of the massive chocolate bars. And I went, what are you doing? He went, you said I could have them. And I went, does it really sound like I'd say that? And he went, you did because you were on the phone. And I'm like, right, okay. You can have a chunk of that and a few of them and the rest of them go downstairs.
Yeah. But they always, you have to though. Podcasts are so hard to kind of have continuity of conversation. Otherwise, it sounds like, if you've seen some of them, especially the recruitment ones, they sound so wooden and so boring is because they got set questions. And my thoughts on business development are, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, don't do it. Don't do a podcast. Just write that. It's boring.
Just talk like it. I think that's what it is. People get into that position and they're like, right, everyone's watching me. I've got to be focused. Look at me. I'm such a professional. And then when in actual fact it's, hey mate, how you doing? So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And people are more interested in having that conversation because it's more relaxed. You're not sat there going, I must be seen as an uber professional. No, I'm just chatting to one of my mates.
Yeah. And that's the important part of podcasting, by the way, is chat. Just chat shit. And somewhere in there, someone says something interesting, then cut that out and put that on social media. Yeah. Before we go, do you want to give everyone your biggest kind of learn about social media without giving away too many secrets?
Don't overthink it. Just literally, the only advice I can give you is be you and don't overthink it. If you're overthinking it, you're overcomplicating it and people aren't going to read it. Like what me and Mark said at the beginning of this, it's all about conversations, those conversations that you're having with people. Actually jot them down and write it from that. Write about what you know and stuff that's happened to you, and it makes it loads easier. Yeah. And don't sit there and think, oh my God, I've got to come across as this major professional. Well, actually, the best way to write is like you're writing for an 11-year-old. So all those big words that you're trying desperately to put in, just keep them out.